Weiß nicht.
Weiß er denn, dass wir alle gehen?
Ja, natürlich.
Bleibst du daheim?
Mein Gott, sollst du deiner Mutti am Rockzipfel hängen?
"20 Weird Facts About All Quiet on the Western Front 2022 You Didn't Know." Before we begin, understand this. All Quiet on the Western Front is not a war movie. It is a film about how enthusiasm is manufactured and then brutally erased. This is not a story of bravery. It is a story of disillusionment, of youth colliding with reality, of ideals destroyed by systems that never face consequences. Let's begin. Fact 1. The film begins with death, not glory. The first image is not a hero. It is a body, a dead soldier stripped of his uniform, washed, repaired, and stitched for reuse. Before we meet the protagonist, the film shows us a cycle. Death, recycling, replacement. The message is immediate and merciless. This war does not care who you are equipment. Fact 2. Paul's excitement is a product of indoctrination, not choice. Paul doesn't join the war because he understands it. He joins because he is taught to want it. Classrooms become recruitment centers. Teachers become propagandists. Patriotism replaces thought. The film exposes how nationalism is sold to young men before they are old enough to question it. Paul's enthusiasm is not courage, it is conditioning. Fact 3. The film deliberately removes individual heroism. Unlike traditional war films, there is no single heroic act, no decisive victory, no moment of triumph, no meaningful recognition. Even bravery disappears into chaos. The camera rarely centers Paul as special. He is one body among many. The film insists, war does not create heroes, it consumes people equally. Fact 4. Authority is shown as comfortable and distant. The officers do not share the suffering of the soldiers. They eat well, they stay dry, they speak of honor from safe rooms. Orders are given without consequence. The film quietly highlights the cruel gap between those who decide wars and those who die in them. The suffering is not accidental, it is structural. Fact 5. Silence is used as a weapon. The title is not metaphorical. All quiet does not mean peace, it means indifference. Between explosions, the film uses silence to emphasize dread, the waiting, the uncertainty, the knowledge that death can arrive without warning. The absence of sound becomes more terrifying than noise.
Fact 6. Friendship becomes a survival tool, not comfort. Paul's bond with his fellow soldiers isn't sentimental, it's practical. They share food, they share warmth, they share fear. Friendship exists because isolation equals death. There is no time for speeches or promises. Connection becomes a method of staying alive, not emotional healing. Fact 7. Violence is mechanical, not emotional. Kills happen suddenly, clumsily, without drama, without meaning. There is no heroic framing, no slow motion, no victory music. Violence feels industrial, like another function of the trench. The film strips killing of narrative value. It happens because the machine requires it. Fact 8. Fear replaces patriotism completely. By the time Paul reaches the front line, ideology is gone. No one talks about honor anymore. No one mentions the nation. No one believes the slogans. The only motivation left is survival. Fear doesn't inspire bravery. It erodes identity. The soldiers no longer ask why they fight. They ask how long they can last. Fact 9. The trench is designed to erase individuality. The trench is not just a location, it is a system. Everyone wears the same uniform. Everyone eats the same rations. Everyone sleeps in the same mud. Names lose importance. Faces blur together. The film presents the trench as an equalizer, not of justice, but of suffering. Fact 10. Death is treated as routine, not tragedy. Bodies are dragged away quickly. Graves are shallow. Names are forgotten. Life moves on immediately. The soldiers don't grieve properly, not because they don't care, but because caring would destroy them. The film shows a brutal truth. To survive war, you must normalize the unthinkable.
Fact 11. Humanity collapses before the body does. Paul doesn't break physically first. He breaks morally. He hesitates. He flinches. He reacts before thinking. The film shows how war doesn't just injure flesh, it rewires instinct. Killing becomes reflex. Compassion becomes dangerous. Empathy becomes a liability. Paul survives, but at the cost of who he used to be. Fact 12. Guilt becomes inescapable, no matter the circumstance. Even when Paul kills to survive, the film refuses to justify it. There is no release, no catharsis, no emotional permission. The camera stays close, forcing the audience to sit with guilt alongside him. The message is brutal. There is no clean killing. There is no moral escape hatch. Survival does not erase responsibility. Fact 13. The enemy is shown as human only after it's too late. The film delays empathy intentionally. Enemies are distant shapes, voices in another language, targets. Only after violence ends does humanity return. Faces, breathing, fear. The film forces a devastating realization. Recognition comes after irreversible harm. War requires dehumanization and punishes you for it afterward. Fact 15. Authority escapes consequence entirely. While soldiers deteriorate, command remains untouched. Generals plan offensives over maps. They argue strategy over meals. They chase legacy, not survival. The people making decisions never pay the price. The film does not shout this injustice. It simply shows it, repeatedly, until silence becomes accusation. Fact 16. Survival begins to feel like shame. By this stage, Paul no longer feels lucky to be alive. He feels burdened. Every fallen friend leaves weight behind. Every breath feels borrowed. Every morning feels unearned. The film introduces a terrifying idea. In war, survival can feel like betrayal. Fact 16. Timing becomes the cruelest weapon in the film. The war is ending. Everyone knows it. And yet, men keep dying. Orders are issued not because they matter, but because authority must be exercised until the final second. The film exposes a merciless truth. War does not stop when peace is near. It stops when paperwork says so. And even then, it's already too late. Fact 17. The final offensive exists only for pride. The last attack serves no strategic purpose, no territory gained, no advantage secured, no lives saved. It exists to preserve honor, not humanity. The film strips the word honor of all romance and reveals it as something lethal when wielded by those far from danger. Pride outlives reason. Soldiers do not. Fact 18. Paul dies after the war has already been lost. This is the film's quietest cruelty. Paul survives the trenches, survives starvation, survives moral collapse, only to die when survival finally should have been possible. His death is not dramatic, not heroic, not meaningful. It is administrative. And that is the point. Fact 19. All quiet is the sound of indifference. The title does not signal peace. It signals dismissal. All quiet means no one is listening, no one is counting, no one will remember. The final silence is not comforting. It is accusatory. It asks the audience to sit with what has been normalized and what has been erased. Fact 20. The final truth. This film is about how systems devour youth. This is the most important fact of all. All Quiet on the Western Front is not about Germany, not about World War I, not even about one generation. It is about systems that recruit the young, protect the powerful, and call the result necessary. The film does not argue. It documents. And what it documents is devastating. All Quiet on the Western Front doesn't inspire. It doesn't reassure. It doesn't offer meaning. It removes illusion. If this documentary made war feel smaller instead of grand, if it made survival feel heavier instead of triumphant, if it left you with silence instead of pride, because the most honest war films don't ask who won. They ask who was used up.